Hey guys, thanks for tuning in again. It's Kid here, and today we're going to be looking at Neca's 7-inch Kyle Reese human resistance soldier figure. Now this is from the series 3 wave. It came out in 2012, but I figured with Sarah Connor coming out, no better time to review Kyle since I've had him for a while and I haven't got a chance to take a look at him on a reviewer scale. So what better time than now? I got this guy in early 2015, pretty late on the wave, but he came in his traditional Neca clamshell packaging. Now, if you're somebody who likes to keep your figures inside of the cases and display them like that, these guys were awesome and you're probably a huge fan of the original clamshell. For me personally, it was about having the movie poster on the actual packaging. Now here you can see that big old picture of the figure itself over to the left. We don't get that anymore. You have the series down there, and they still put the series on the back of the box, but not like they did originally. They used to have it on the spines and then really big on the back right there, and I always thought that kind of added so much to the packaging. However, this is still more along the lines of a cult classic packaging than it is with the new ones. So I do kind of miss that. However, you know, it is very rare that I don't take something out of its original packaging, whether it's to photo shoot it, whether it's to review it for YouTube, or whether it's to just display it because they're awesome figures. Now, a lot of people did not collect Kyle Reese, and therefore you can still find a lot of Kyle Reese. He's on Amazon right now for about $25. You can also find him on eBay. I got mine as part of a package deal. It was Kyle, the liquid nitrogen police cop, and then the final battle T-800, who was actually really hard to find. So I was actually lucky to get my hands on all three of them, and it was less than $70. A lot of people have said it's because he doesn't look like Michael Biehn. But if you take a look at the sculpt, it's a beautiful sculpt, it's well done, and it works as a Terminator 1 figure and a Terminator 2 figure. Because obviously he's all through Terminator 1, but in Terminator 2, he's in the scene where Sarah has this vision of Kyle leading her out of the mental institution, or at least into the hallway. So like I said, he doubles for both movies, which is awesome. It's a twofer. And there's not many figures out there that are like that, other than the 66 West Batman and the REESE Superman, maybe Freddy. None of the other figures really can transcend multiple films. So I think that's a really cool thing about him. Not to mention the fact that, how can you have Terminator without Kyle Reese? You can't. He's one of the most iconic characters in the Terminator universe, so obviously having him to round out the line is awesome. We got Sarah, we got Kyle. Now obviously Neca is doing an ultimate line of most of their figures. Kyle is not one that they have planned, or at least according to Neca on Twitter, not one they have planned, but man, I'm crossing my fingers because God, he's awesome. One of the coolest things he comes with is obviously the Ithaca 37 shotgun with the sawed-off stock. He has this in the movie clear up until the Tech Noir nightclub. I think he has it afterwards, but it really just makes most of its appearance in the beginning of the film because he tethers it off to his jacket. Another cool thing about Kyle is his shotgun is unique to Kyle. A lot of the Terminator figures come with their own shotguns, and Kyle's is very unique. It's got the sawed off at the end. It's got the attention to detail that's just for Kyle's, and my favorite part is the string. Obviously, they did that awesomeness where they tether it in, they make it very movie realistic, and they use an actual piece of string or tweed. I'm not quite sure exactly what it is, but it's awesome, obviously, because it's very, very real. And if we get a closer look up here on the jacket, you can see they've actually made it apart, and it looks like the string goes all the way up, but if you can get a closer look here, I'll show you. Most of that string on the jacket is actually fake. So the tweed goes to about right here, and then it catches. Now, I guess that could be a regular string and they just put something on it to make it harder, but the fact that it comes off as a piece of the jacket means you don't have to worry about it ripping off and having to try to glue it back on. On my base, you're going to see, what is this down here? That's a picture of Sarah Connor that John gives to Kyle. The little plastic thing that's covered up, it came with the Neca packaging. It was inside. So I just turned it upside down and taped it over my base so I don't lose the picture because it is tiny, regardless of how well done it is. Taking a closer look at Kyle's face, you see a beautiful head sculpt. A lot of people have come out and said, this doesn't look like Michael Biehn. This doesn't look like Michael Biehn. Michael Biehn isn't that attractive. It just, you know, it's like they recasted it maybe a little bit. They did some upgrades. However, if you ask me my personal opinion, I think it does look like Michael Biehn. They put the scar on the chin. They tried to capture it in the eyebrows. The hair is delivered exactly the same way. So I think Neca really did try to deliver a Michael Biehn. However, you're saying, have you seen the Arnold? Have you seen Ripley? Have you seen the Sarah Connor figure? And if I'm going to be 100% honest, yes, the likenesses in all of those figures are way better. However, from 2012 to 2016, a lot's changed. It's still Kyle Reese. If you're looking at articulation, you see it looks right, it looks left. You can move it both ways. Not too stiff. Pretty standard of all the older NECA figures, which I kind of like. If you come down here and you're looking at the attention to detail, Jesus. I mean, everything that you could want. It's the classic trench coat, even where the color kind of sticks out from the skin. Very realistic, very worn, just like the film. Obviously, loose jackets, which is something that NECA does. They always put it so that it's more of a rubber. So you can get a little bit of a rolling articulation with it, kind of make it look more realistic. Obviously, scrunches in the shirt, scrunches in the jacket itself. They really want you to get the feel that no matter what angle you look at, you're going to get a realistic feel from this figure. And that's exactly what you're going to get. And the photos with it are awesome because the realism that they give to the jacket and to the clothing plays with multiple lighting, which is something that I really like about the figure. Up here on the shoulders, you see everything from the jacket in the movie is in this jacket right here. I mean, it is the trench coat from the 1984 film. They just tailor-made that sucker in 7-inch format, that's all, and with rubber, which is awesome. On the shoulder articulation, you'll see that the arm bends all the way around. You can roll it around in the joint, moving down to the elbow. You got the right angle that you can make. Also, bends around in the joint. You can roll it around all the way. So that's really, not necessary, but still cool whenever you're grabbing onto guns. Same thing with the hand. It rolls around 100% in the joint, 360 degrees of articulation. It holds onto the shotgun really, really well. He doesn't come with a lot of accessories. So the only other thing you could put in the hand really would probably be Sarah's picture, which, I'll show you that later actually. Same thing with the other arm. Rolls all the way around. Same thing with the other elbow. Rolls all the way around. Some of these older figures you're going to get when you get them, especially if it's the winter and it's up north, breathe on the joints. Use hot water. Use a hair dryer. Whatever you have to do, don't risk breaking your figure. And the older the figure, the more you're going to have to risk it. Here underneath the jacket, one of the things you'll see, it bends over here at the waist, but look, the shirt doesn't go all the way back. See that? It's just kind of like on the front, and then you have the peach underneath there to match the skin tone. So I think that's kind of interesting because I don't think I've seen this in any of the other figures. However, I think maybe it's like that in the Tech Noir one too, or maybe he just has a cutoff. More than likely, this is for articulation because if you look here in the waist, there's not a whole lot of it. Now, these figures were actually made as collector pieces. They weren't supposed to be fully articulated. The legs are stuck in a standstill position at minor angles so that regardless of how you position the top, he doesn't fall over. Now, if you look at the knees and you look at the back of the knees, you'll notice there's literally no joint. So this is just how he's going to be. However, compared to the T800s that are a little bit heavier over time, he falls over less. This is why I wish they would make an ultimate Kyle Reese. I think he could be very well done, and I think he could be a great addition to this older piece. On the shoes here, you'll see that there's one thing missing, the Nike symbol. I'd say more than likely, Nike probably wanted a hefty fee to use their symbol in a 7-inch figure that was going to be mass-produced. Didn't need it. It still looks awesome. I can probably take white out and make my own little check mark on it, so I'm not really too worried about that. But the attention to detail on these shoes is awesome, especially on the bottoms. They definitely went all out on these guys. It straight up has that classic 1980s feel, and of course that 1980s look. As far as articulation is concerned, it spins around on the ankle, but that's about it for the legs. Take a look at this thing right here. This is one of the coolest accessories that has ever come with any NECA figure ever. Look how small that is. Tiny. And then you zoom up. Look at the detail. That looks like the photo. I couldn't believe it. And whenever you put it in his hand, fits right in there. Look at that. Completely and totally out of this world. It comes on a little piece of cardboard. I believe it's hand painted, but damn if that doesn't look like a real picture. And not even just one of the best accessories that's ever come with a NECA figure. This is one of the best accessories that's ever come with any figure, because you can tell they put so much love into it. Seriously, this is one of those things that whenever I took a closer look, I was just blown away. Because you can talk about a company's attention to detail. You can talk about the quality of their figure. But this is something that NECA didn't have to do, and they gave it to us. Like, what mattered more to Kyle than anything? Sarah. And that picture, he talks about it so much. So to put that in there and to make it look like this, dude, bravo, NECA, and keep bringing it. And then obviously the love of his life. The fact that I can now put Kyle and Sarah together just is, man, it's awesome. Because you've never been able to do it before. And look at them. They're made for each other. And I know that he wasn't in the sequel more than just the beginning, but still, just to have Kyle and Sarah together is awesome. So if you don't have both of them, you want them. Because then you can do this. These are just some of my favorite ones from the original Terminator film, and now I have Sarah. I kind of wanted to put them together. Not an opportunity I've had before, so taking advantage of it. I guess next I would love to see the original Sarah Connor from the Terminator. Don't think we're going to get her, so until then, gonna display Sarah with him. Obviously got the Tech Noir battle damage version. I'm going to do that review coming up soon. But for me, it's about capturing a moment in time. And I feel like that's exactly what's happened with NECA's Terminator line. With all the little things that they've given us, I guess some of the only other things that I would have maybe possibly liked to see Kyle with was maybe some of his future gear. If we got an ultimate version of him, I would definitely look forward to seeing something like that. But until then, I'm very pleased with what we got. I couldn't have really asked for much more, except for perhaps an ultimate version in 2016. But if we don't, we know we're going to get at least one Ultimate T800 from the original film in Ultimate format. But who else is there? Unless they give us another Kyle and maybe an original Sarah Connor, which I would really love to see. There's nobody else except for the T800. So hopefully that's exactly what we're going to be getting. But if we don't, I'm okay with it. So thanks for stopping by, guys. Make sure to subscribe. Tune in next week. We're going to be reviewing Pops. Have a good one.
In an insane world, it was the sanest choice.